Okay, everybody, welcome. I hope everyone can hear me. I think it should be okay. It on my end it looks fine, but I suppose we'll see whenever someone stops in. Honestly, I am just using this as a time to vent and maybe help other people understand a little bit of why we've gotten to the point we are, specifically talking about the US and the politics relating to it. There are certainly a ton of policies that have gotten us to where we are, but the main reason that we are where we are is not because of policies. It is because of the mindset of human beings. It honestly, right now, it's a scary time. It is very scary in the United States and truthfully, a lot of parts of the world because there are many, many, many groups who are just beginning to, or not even just beginning to, they are fully self interested, and that is entirely detrimental to having any amount of cohesion in the world. I can think of some in Germany, the far right, that is doing very similar things to what was happening in the 1940 era with Hitler and the far right movement. The United States is looking very similar with our incredibly weak and incredibly manipulative leadership. I know in Spain and some European countries, there are very, very few, how to say it, there are very few interests of the lowest and poorest workers in the country being brought up to the highest tables. And it's the same thing that's happening here. And so, what I want to get into is why this is happening around the world and everything that's just going on. High impact. People are in this mindset right now. And there's a lot that goes into this. Uh, I appreciate it, Impact. Thank you. There is just so much that is going into what is happening in the US right now, in many parts of the world. And a lot of it has to do with the idea of people not being able to listen to others or wanting to listen to others. Regardless of your point of view, what side you stand on, or the policies that you hold near and dear to your heart, if you never feel like you're being listened to, then you won't want to listen. It's the simple truth. It's almost as though you are attacking someone for something they hold right here and then expecting them to care about anything that we have to say or anything that you would have to say. And it's an issue because there are just so many people who've never been heard, never been cared for, have never dealt with the things that they've dealt with in the past, and they've never realized how to get through these awful moments in their life. And because of that, they're projecting all of their issues onto the outside world, onto people who have never had an impact in their life, and they're all of a sudden making it their issue to make everyone else feel worse so that they can somehow feel better by comparison. And if we don't figure out how to get rid of that outdated ideal, we will forever be in a cycle of this where people have to fight continuously to live and exist, and where violence is essentially the only answer to get any change done because no one is willing to listen. It's horrible and I hate it. But if we don't start trying to figure it out, it'll never get better. And the good news is, as scary and dark and awful as what I just said is, there are ways for us to get better at this. It's not what we expect typically. Typically, you would run out to someone and start begging and pleading with them or yelling and screaming at them to change their point of view so that you feel heard. But that's not the starting place. That's halfway up the mountain. That might not even be a part of the same mountain. First, to fix the world, we have to start working on ourselves. And there are people I'm talking with, from coworkers to family to friends to anybody I meet, that they just don't know how to interact with themselves first and foremost, let alone interact in a meaningful way with anyone that they surround themselves with. And so much of it is just because they are hurt and they feel like they are not heard and they feel like they don't matter and they aren't respected. So they will find any amount of respect or love or care that they can find, and they'll hold on to that for dear life because that's the only thing that that's the only time that they have ever felt that way. So to start making the world a better place, we need to start making ourselves better. Every conversation I have with people, it just revolves around listening and trying to understand their point of view. And every time, these people let me in so quickly. But the issue is not with being able to do it for other people. It's for being able to do it to yourself or for yourself. Every person I'm talking about, family, coworkers, friends, if they could learn how to interact with themselves, how to listen to themselves, how to work with themselves on their own issues and become better in their own way, we wouldn't be here. But that has never been a priority for anybody. Matter of fact, in the US, it had been demonized and you were called mentally ill and crazy and psycho for trying to understand yourself in a better way up until recently, up until our generation. And because of that, because the people in power have so successfully dissociated the individual people from themselves, this is where we've landed. No one understands themselves, and because of that, they cling to anything they can to make themselves feel strong. Because strength is the thing that was touted and prided over for generations of Americans. And it's so outdated. It is so unhelpful. It is so toxic and just... it degrades the foundation of people to only prioritize a single emotion and a single trait and a single whatever. And it's so frustrating because I know that every person can be better. That may not be true. A part of the issue we have now is blanket statements, and that was a blanket statement, saying that everyone can be better. That's not totally true. I don't know. But every person I've had the time to talk with and develop a relationship with and get them to rethink some of their thoughts, they have gotten better. Howdy, Absolute. It's just so I don't even know, infuriating, because you can't even force someone to do it. To get better, I mean. They have to want to get better, but they can't want to get better if they've never been told that they should or that they can. It's such a box to trap people in, to say that you need to show only strength and then to never promote finding that strength, or to show you how to get to that point of being strong for other people or for yourself. Just say, be strong and figure it out. Okay, great. What does strength look like to anybody? Is strength just continuing forward without any hope of finding a place to break or take a rest? Is it fighting every person that you come across to prove that you're tougher or stronger than other people? How about to prove that you're so strong by staying up every night to make sure that you can make enough money to finally retire at 60? Is that strength? No. No, none of that is strength. It's frankly stupidity. You can't continue to do the same thing hoping that this will be the time that works. You need to take a step back from anything that you were doing frequently to reevaluate and understand if this is something that you want to be a part of anymore, or if this is how you want to continue. And without doing that, without that self-reflection, you will never get to a point where you want to be. You can trick yourself, you can compare yourself to other people, and maybe finally you have the car that other people have that you want, or maybe you finally have the house that's big enough, but you'll never feel fulfilled if you never understand what it took for you to change to get to that point. And this is a rant, and this is a vent. And I'm saying a lot of you, but I don't mean you, the people watching. I mean everybody. This same conversation goes to me 6 years ago. I was lucky enough to have time to think about these things and to work on myself, to understand and get better. And now this is where I am, and I can understand these things, and I can understand empathy for the next person without having to understand what they're going through. I just have to care about them and respect them. That's it. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. It doesn't matter your orientation, your color, your height, your weight. It doesn't matter. These people just need to feel like they're cared for. That's it. If they feel respected, if they feel loved, if they feel cared for genuinely, they will work to be better, because they are being shown that they are worth it. God, it sucks so bad. So many generations of people have never felt like they were loved or cared for, and this is the result. Where we are, an entirely scary reality where we just don't know what the next thing's going to be. And what gets me is that it's so simple to care for somebody. It's difficult, right? To try to figure out how to love someone and care for them in the best way, but it's so simple to be a good person and just ask. And another kicker is that we were all born to want to ask. We were all born curious. We were all born loving and caring. But through who knows how many different traumas that people have experienced, they have shielded themselves from that because it's hard and it's scary to love and care for other people, especially if you've been betrayed by them. How can you love again when you feel like you have been tormented by the people who you were supposed to trust and care for? You can't. You can, but it's difficult and it's scary. And so if you never see that again, if you never see love and a want to be better, you'll never get there. And it's not your fault. Sometimes people just have to be shown the way to get better so that they can actually start taking steps forward. It's like walking on a path in the woods. Someone had to be the first one to do it. And after however many people follow that same path, eventually it becomes ground in, and everyone can follow it without needing a guide. But you have to start somewhere. If you're stuck in the woods of not understanding yourself, all you have to do is start moving. That's it. And eventually you will start to figure out the things that hurt and the things that make sense and the things that make your life easier to live the way you want. It will take a long time. It will take even longer without having people there to help you along the way. But something that we forget is that not every kid, that's another blanket statement, but the majority of kids who are born care. They are empathetic people. They are empathetic creatures. Humans are. We're social. We care about the people around us because that is how we work within society. We're supposed to care. You can ask for help. It is just difficult and scary if you've never been able to ask for it and feel like it helped you or feel like you weren't being taken advantage of. And like I've already said or touched on, if you ask help from somebody who has gone through torment and so many different issues in their own life, they may not know how to respond to you or react to you, or they may be awful and react totally inappropriately or manipulate, or who knows what they'll do. But their reaction is not your fault. If you need help, ask for help. And if they can't give it, ask to someone else. And if they can't, someone else. So many people are dealing with so much right now. And there are people who can help. And if you do need help working through something, talk to me. I am here. I will be here for you as best I can, because of course I have my own things going on, but I will be here for you. I will try to help best I can. And yeah, the entire time I will try to focus on you becoming a better person for yourself so that you can maybe help other people as well. So that you can help yourself first and foremost, but then maybe if you ever have the energy to help someone else, you can pass that along. I can't do this all on my own. But we people can do this together. We just have to want to, and we have to be shown that it's the best thing that we can do. Sorry, that was my 20-minute rant.